What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We are live. Frugal Fundamentals, you know what it is, every Wednesday. Today we got good friend, special guest, GMDY Harris, founder of GMDY. We're going to talk all things personal brand, apparel, merch, e-commerce, all that. It's going to be a fun episode. I'm excited to share what he's got in the works, how it can help athletes, especially during this current time, and, different things moving forward. So we're just gonna wait for him to get on and tap in. Yep, gotta wait. For those that don't know, Frugal Fundamentals every Wednesday, essentially virtual workshops with athletes or people in the sports business industry, kind of teaching athletes, how to succeed in and out of sports. So that's why I'm really excited about today. We're going to have GMDY founder GMDY Harris because I really believe this platform, and obviously unbiased opinion, this platform could really help athletes just understand, the power that they have from a analytics standpoint, from a e-commerce standpoint, apparel standpoint, brand standpoint. So he's on right now, and then we're going to have him tune in. So for those that don't know, this also is going to be repurposed on podcast and video platform. Obviously, we do it Instagram Live. So if you guys aren't able to tune in live, make sure you check it on IGTV, YouTube, podcast at a later time. There he is.
There he is.
The man, the myth, the legend. How's everything going?
How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Let's try to.
Okay. Let me give you this moment.
There we go.
Perfect. So how's
Awesome.
your day going? How's everything going?
Well, living in the Bay Area, it's like I'm not sure how to describe it, but it's been dark all day. So we're it's another world. It's like we're on Mars, but
That's
trying to navigate that.
Are you and the family safe though?
We are. Yeah, it's been eerie. My desk is right near the window, and it really does look like it's 9:30, and it's looked like that all night, all day. So it's been interesting.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you guys aren't, outside consuming the air. That's first and foremost. Hopefully you and your family stay safe. But the reason I brought you on today is because you've been someone that's in the works when it comes to the sports business space, e-commerce space, analytics space, personal brand space. And I feel like a lot of people know what you're doing, but they don't know what you're doing at the same time. So can you give some people that may not know you some context into you, who you are, background, all that?
Yeah. So again, thanks for having me on, Amobi.
It's long overdue. It's long overdue. To be honest.
You're one of the hardest working men in show business.
It's good. Iron sharpens iron. If I see you, if I see some other people, I know we got John Postis, a good friend of mine. So I'm surrounded by people that work hard. So it's only it's like a sponge.
We're grind. Yeah. So so my name is GMDY Harris. For the last 2 years, I've been working on GMDY apparel, and I'll tell a little bit more about what that is in a second. But I'll just give a little background. Huge, passionate sports fan. I had a dream of working in sports when I was younger, whether that was being a pitcher for the San Francisco Giants or being in the front office of a major league sports team. And so I pursued a little bit of that in college, and ultimately pivoted, if you will, and joined the startup world about 20 years ago. And I've been as early as the number 4 employee at a company, helped companies build complete operations teams, help them scale operationally. And, with the passion for sports and the excitement around the startup world, I guess in addition to my severe awareness of the e-commerce space, I was really excited when the opportunity came up for me to pursue this as an entrepreneur, a true entrepreneur, and start GMDY.
So what was that aha moment like, where it was like, because obviously you have experience, you started companies from the ground up, you have a sports background, but it's like, okay, I'm going to start this. Like, how did that happen?
So a couple different reasons, and it's all timing. Life's all about timing. I'm sure you've had a number of experiences where you're like, wow, how did I get there? It was because of this particular moment in time. And I would say that was, I'm no different there. I was working for a company that ultimately decided that they were going to consolidate. I was working remotely, whereas now everybody's working remotely, so it's sort of weird. Having thought about it now, but I was working for a company that was headquartered in Chicago, and they decided that they were going to consolidate and just everything in Chicago. That in addition to sitting on my couch watching a Golden State Warriors basketball game, being interested in something the Warriors were wearing and not being able to find it, ultimately came that aha moment of, I have this opportunity. I have this great background in e-commerce and the awareness of how brands and retailers think about merchandising and their products. And I have this incredible passion for sports. And I would say the fourth thing was the push from my wife. Without that, we wouldn't be here today. So having that support system really helps make that dream a reality. And so it's those four things that put us in this position to be able to talk about it today.
That's amazing. I'm gonna make sure I'm cut that clip, send it to your wife so you get some points. Because that's
it's really our anniversary next week. So please hurry up on that.
Respect. So break down game day, because something I'm really fascinated about is e-commerce. Obviously, we've had the opportunity to connect over the past couple of years. You know, we built a great relationship, but I'm still learning like something new every day when it comes to e-commerce. And you have experience in this space, but give us like an overview, a bird's eye view of what exactly the phenomenon around e-commerce really is.
Yeah. So game day. So the mission of game day is to be the real-time consumer and analytics engine for sports. So when you break that down, there's really two different players in that value proposition, in addition to brands. But we'll put brands off to the side for a minute. But think about those two opportunities that interact with sports. It's the fans and it's the athletes. And what we're understanding more and more about today is that fans are incredibly passionate about their favorite athletes. And more of us are following athletes and not teams. Yeah. So there's this connection that we have between fans and athletes that are yearning for greater awareness in more ways to engage with one another. So you add to that the interest from a sports fan's perspective of what actually makes our favorite athletes who they are. What are they doing from a training perspective? What's making them the top tier in their sport today? In addition to that, what are they interested in off the court, course, pitch, you name it? And so when you break that down, you realize that an athlete just has these connection points that we as sports fans are interested in understanding more about, and oftentimes influenced to purchase or to learn more about it because we have this interest in having that greater engagement. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring together those different pieces in a more, in an easier, scalable, and exciting way with game day. Okay. When you think about, and sorry to interrupt, but when you think about on the e-commerce side, again, there's products, there's brands, there's things, there's entities that all make up the e-commerce world. And you as an athlete know this. You're using things, you're connecting with things, you're taking things, whether there's maybe supplements, vitamins, and all of those things. And again, we as sports fans are interested in that. And as a result, we want to help you as the athlete showcase that to your fans and followers.
Exactly. So what was it from the Warriors that you were like, what were you looking for?
So the Warriors were celebrating Chinese Heritage Night, and they were wearing a red warm-up, which is not their team color. And so it doesn't, when I think back, it doesn't surprise me that it caught my eye. But really it was that moment of, that's pretty cool, because it was something different. And I didn't do anything about it at the time. A couple of days later, I happened to be sitting at my computer. I got distracted and I thought, I want to go find it. Mm-hmm. And so I went through the channels that we all know about with e-commerce, whether that was Fanatics or Amazon. And I just used their navigation to try to find that. And so when you start going through that red warm-up, Warriors bench, you think about all of your search terms that you might use on Google or through that process. I still don't own that red warm-up. And so for maybe a couple different reasons. One, I got distracted after I didn't find it after a couple minutes, which we all now experience. Yeah. Or two, it just wasn't within those areas of the websites that I was navigating to. And so therein lies the way that game day came to be. It was the realization that we as sports fans are connected with sports in a different way. Yeah. And so I wanted to bring that experience of the game, the teams, the date, the schedule, all the aspects that we as sports fans are engaging with from a sports perspective. I wanted to bring the e-commerce world to the sports fan in a real-time process, so that if a fan had a game day app open, they could directly see where to go buy that warm-up in real time while they're watching the game, or maybe 2 days later if they're watching highlights. And so it's that opportunity to give sports fans that immediacy, that I see it and I want it opportunity that we've all now grown to expect. Otherwise, we get distracted and we move on to the next shiny object.
That's true. And how can athletes take advantage of that in the sense of like connecting with their fan base, connecting with their community, connecting with their audience, where it's like, one of the big things now is like athletes, what they're wearing in the walk up to the game. Like, how do you connect? Like, how can athletes use that game day platform to connect with their fans? Like, yo, my lucky socks, or, it's my favorite hat, wristband, watch. Like, I feel like game day platform allows you to have anything. Like, I'm talking clothes, but this is apparel too, or kitchen utensils. Like, watch how I make food in the kitchen. Like, how can you explain like why game day allows that connectivity and easy to use navigation?
Yeah. So think of game day as a profile-based platform. So similar to many of the platforms today where you could follow a Moby on game day. And as you're playing in games, we're going to alert and notify all your fans that are following you on game day to say, hey, come check out what Amobi's wearing on the pitch today. Mm-hmm. And so that gives fans that direct insights and access to what you're playing in. Think of that game day experience. And that includes potentially, what did you wear into the arena? What are you wearing in the arena while you're on the pitch? And maybe during a post-game interview. Mm-hmm. And so it's that comprehensive view, that complete look into you in that particular day. Now there's plenty other opportunities from the game day experience where we can bring more of your products and brands into your profile. That would include your personally branded products. Maybe you have your own t-shirts, your own hat that you have your own logos on. That could be, again, your supplements. And we break that down into various ways that you can filter, and it's just your view. So if a fan is interested in what does Moby represent, what is he truly about, you would go to your profile and you could see everything, whether from a category perspective, a brand perspective. You can filter on prices, and really let you drill into all the things that you're representing to give direct insights for your fans. No, I would say the last piece that we've introduced is creating social commerce around your social content that you're creating, where we're going to allow you to authorize your Instagram account today. And over time, that'll be more and more platforms. But we're going to bring in all of your Instagram content and start tagging all of that content that you're showcasing in your Instagram feed with products. And that really allows us to accelerate and create more momentum for your brand, as it allows you that opportunity to monetize socially what you're showcasing as well.
Perfect. So, for example, and it kind of leads into a comment one of my good friends made, John. So, say I post a soccer pic and like I'm wearing like some of my go-to cleats, and instead of me having to like force people or talk about it in the caption, it's already tagged. Game Day has it, and then it's like, oh wait, I've never seen those cleats before. I can go and click and find those cleats as a fan.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. The way that we want to partner with athletes, we want to eliminate any of the work on the athlete. We know that athletes are busy. We know that athletes are we want them to focus on continuing their craft. And so really all we ask the athlete to do is mention in a social post, hey, if you're interested in anything that I represent, just follow me on game day. Go to game day and follow me there. And that way we can start engaging with your fans and letting them know, hey, Amobi just posted something on Instagram. Come see what it is. And it really does give that direct insight for those fans that see you and see that post on Instagram and drill directly into those cleats or that warm-up that you were wearing. Or again, it could just be something where you're sitting on some steps in a previous post that you had where you're just out, from a lifestyle perspective. It really is that complete 360-degree view that we want to help you share with your fans and followers.
No, that's amazing. And I feel, you mentioned it earlier, a lot of athletes are creating their own accounts and products, whether it's, my good friend Nick is on fitness products or their own apparel lines, whether it's Shopify, Fanatics, Amazon, you talk about all these different platforms. Game Day differs in that, and that provides analytics that you can go and go to said brand or go to said company and it's like, yo, I'm driving this much traffic to your company. Whether it's through affiliate or whether it's direct or whether it's my own product. Talk about that specific customization within Game Day.
Yeah, I think this is the most exciting part that I find with the platform as I've gone deeper and deeper into the conversations with athletes. And while the fan experience is the originating of where it came to be, me as a sports fan, really where I'm most passionate about is providing Game Day as a tool for athletes, and really think of it as this is one of my important branding opportunities, my branding tools that I'm going to use to change the conversations. And so to your point, that's two different ways. Game Day shares the revenue that is generated as a result of the consumer activity that comes through your profile. So it's a passive income, and we want to help you continue to maximize your value. And again, not ask you to do a whole lot except use your social platforms to just simply share to your fans and followers. So we want to pay you or share in that revenue that's generated. But the second piece that I think is most interesting, and agents have expressed this excitement as well, is the opportunity where all of that consumer activity actually comes back into Game Day, and we then share that with our athlete partners and break it down by brands, products, categories, retailers, events, and the specific fans that are all doing that commerce. So think of that as if I drove a fan to go buy my cleats, we want to show you all the Adidas revenue that you generated. And over time, we truly believe that you're going to be able to leverage that data to change the conversations and ultimately level the playing field with brand endorsements, and maybe get you a brand endorsement that you weren't able to have before, because now you truly understand what type of revenue you're driving to the brands that you have may or may not have relationships with.
That's a game changer. Like the frugal athlete in me is thinking like, okay, you're a rookie, you sign like the standard, whatever, Nike, Adidas deal, but then you have Game Day and you're doing Game Day like in addition to the endorsement that you have. And then next time your contract's up, it's like they want to give you like the standard second contract. It's like, wait. No, just because you guys gave me this is in addition, separate of what the regular endorsement strategy that you guys gave me that I'm bringing to Nike or Adidas or Reebok or Puma or whoever it is. This is actually my value to you guys. And if you guys don't want to do anything with it, I could take it to the next thing, or I could build my own products. And I know Dreams and Ambition talked about ownership, and I feel like Game Day gives you that platform. And, a lot of athletes are in that realm in the sense of like, we want ownership. We want to control all our products, all our apparel, all that. So I really
you want to control your brand, and you can also think of it as the operating system. If you think about that from a technology perspective, but this is the operating system for your brand. This is going to bring everything together. This is going to be able to share all the brand relationships that you might have, and that's giving more value back to your brands that you have those relationships with. But at the baseline, this is data that no one has ever been able to have before, because no one's ever been able to understand what type of consumer activity am I driving to brands. Mm-hmm. And so this is that elusive awareness that really can empower the athletes to fundamentally change the conversation.
Okay, that's really cool. So, in your opinion, what would you suggest for athletes to do? More and more athletes are getting into their own products and apparel, but sometimes athletes may not want to do that. In terms of building a brand, connecting with the community through game day, what are some platforms that they can do?
Yeah, well, the reality is that every athlete has influence. So mm-hmm. some of the feedback I've been given as I've talked to, whether they're athletes or the agents, the business side of it is, well, I only have this amount of followers, and that doesn't matter. Like, you're a professional athlete, you have influence, and as you are growing in your sport, you're going to grow, and you should be thinking about, what am I going to do next with my career? Careers are naturally shorter, right? You never know when sports are going to be taken away from injuries or global pandemics. And so take advantage of your career now, like maximize your opportunities now and don't wait for later. So that's one piece of advice. The second is, there's no harm in trying. There's no harm in at least bringing together everything that you are about and continuing to try to grow what you represent and start giving value back to the brands that you currently have relationships with. And so that's a starting point. And then as we start to show, or as you're able to understand some of the metrics, that flywheel where you're going to want to continue to drive your fans and share with your fans more about who you are. Because you're going to understand more about who you are and what value you drive, but also you're going to get more revenue, more money in your pocket. That's going to help you do the things that you want to do, which are the things that you talk about from a frugal athlete.
No, that's what it's all about. And we have a question in from Dreams and Ambition, a great question. What if the brands, already use their own third-party data analytics platform, for example, Hookit or something? And if I could take this question, I would say that from the brand perspective, okay, they use a third party, but from the athlete perspective, you don't really know. They could say whatever if you don't have, the information on your own. And specifically, depending on the brand you work with, you can't take that information and take it to somebody else. If you're working with the Nike, they use Hookit, they're saying, yeah, you did great analytically. This is what we want to give you. For this. Whereas if I had the information, I'm like, I can go to Adidas, it's like, this is what I did for Nike, and I only did this, this, and this. Imagine what I could do for you if I do this, 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 plus this, this, and that. That's from my perspective as an athlete, but you obviously the brains behind game day. So if you can give a further explanation, that'd be great. Great question.
Yeah. Thanks for that question. I hadn't even thought of that perspective, having the brand own that data takes more control away from you. And as we think about ownership, the importance around the ownership aspect, should continue to drive you to want to have more control over your brand. Mm-hmm. The second piece is what we try to get away from is the value that is derived or the value that's assumed from shares, likes, followers from a social media perspective. And that's where we differentiate ourselves. And we're actually providing the athletes with true brand consumer activity, true brand consumer awareness. So it's the actual transaction level information that we're able to give back to you and break it down into different reports that's going to show you actually what your influence is, instead of a post that you do that gets 1,000 likes. What is sometimes, our argument is, what is that actually telling you as a brand or as an athlete? Is anything actually happening from a consumer's perspective? So our value add is we're actually showing that consumer activity that actually comes back to you in the form of my true brand influence.
No, that's a great point that you brought up, especially because I talk to a lot of athletes about, well, I don't have a lot of followers yet. I'm going to wait. But and I know a lot of people on this live can attest to it. Some people have a lot of followers, but it doesn't translate to dollars. So a lot of people have paid followers. A lot of people have, bots and to drive their follower list up, and they think that's what's going to make it when it comes to transactional, and that's not the case. And so keep in mind, whether it's engagement rate, but at the end of the day, when you're working with brands, when you're working with the company, if you're selling a product, it's how many people are buying your services, buying your products. You can get all the likes in the world, but if it's not turning into profit, then who really cares?
Yeah. One other thing that I think is interesting is the transparent aspect of what we're trying to help from an athlete partnership perspective. So think of it as you're playing in a game. This is the gear that you're using. This isn't an ad. Like we're not looking to be an advertising platform for you. This is actually what you're using. So there's no more transparent display of what I represent than that way. Like you wouldn't use that stuff if you didn't actually think it was going to help you perform at a peak performance, right?
Yeah.
The same thing can be said for social posts that we talked about, where we want to bring in your Instagram content today and start tagging that. Those aren't sponsored posts. Those aren't advertisements. Those are just you being you from a social perspective. And so again, from a transparency aspect, that is your content. It's not sponsored. It's nothing else like that. And we want to just help you as the athlete be as transparent and authentic as possible. And we think that we help in those ways.
No, I like that a lot too, because it's not like, okay, you have to do 3 posts per month. It's like, no, I'm just posting freely like how I want. And you don't have to say ads, so consumers or audience are like, oh, they just posted this because they're getting paid for it. It's like, no, this is really what I am. This is really what I'm about. And you can see and support and get your own and follow. So
yep,
thank you
that's
so
exactly
much,
right.
Danny. I really appreciate you sharing that.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, I mean, where can people find you? Obviously, you're on the Game Day platform right now. So if people want to go follow, make their own profiles for the athletes that are tapped in. But how can they connect with you? I know you're the master connector. So where can they find you? How can they connect with you moving forward?
Yeah. So you can check us out at gmdy.co. That's our website. That's where you can start to see sort of what Game Day is all about. Follow your favorite athletes. Create a profile and go there, or you can download us on the iOS app store, or the Android app store. So Game Day is throughout the platforms, on all the platforms. Otherwise, feel free to email me personally at Danny, DANNY at gmdy.co. I'd love to talk more with anybody that's interested in learning more, getting on the platform, or just generally talking about the vision of what the Game Day platform is.
Yeah, respect.
Amobi, can I add one more thing?
Of course.
I just wanted to let everybody know that last week we made the decision that we are going to, for any of the proceeds that Game Day makes with through the platform, we're going to be donating all of the proceeds to the Black Lives Matter Coalition. So know that any activity that comes through the platform, you're supporting the cause, in addition to the athletes that you are connecting with and driving revenue their way as well.
No, that's what it's all about. And earlier you mentioned about the social impact that Game Day has, and that's a true testament to what you're doing. So respect for that. And for the people that are tuning in, make sure you tap into Game Day. I'm biased. I got my own platform in there. I definitely got to update some products on that, but in due time. And for the people that didn't tune in, this will be on audio format, video format, and repurposed to IGTV. Lots of gems. Always a pleasure to connect with you, Danny. We're definitely going to have you back on, maybe do like a masterclass on, Game Day, e-commerce, all that.
Awesome. Thanks again, Amobi. I really appreciate it.
Always. Catch you later.
Yeah.